Good morning to everyone and welcome again to the Going On Daily live morning show.
Woohoo!
Yay!
Oh,
If you're
nice.
seeing the beautiful two people in front of you, myself and my lovely co-host Lena Williams, that means you made it to Saturday.
I looked like a frog earlier, but then I did the spell on myself to change
Wait,
myself
what?
into a human being. No, I'm just kidding.
I,
It's
I
the
really thought I'm like I was wearing all green. I
nope.
was
I just look like a reptile when I wake up in the morning. But it is a pleasure to be back here on Saturday with you, Ira.
oh well, thank you. You
It
know what?
is.
You wake up on Saturday and we have this. It's a commitment. Let's call it what it is. It's a commitment to
Okay.
do the show
Sure.
for us. But I've never woken up on a Saturday, a little earlier than I would probably like,
Hmm.
and gone. Oh man, I have to do a podcast,
I
and
know.
I've got to be with Lena and Ron. Come on, we love this,
I
which is why
know.
we do it.
I think the only thing I do is like scramble, like, oh, are my facts all lined up right? Are my notes okay? Like that's the only thing I
Yes.
do. Which that's just the way my brain works. So yeah, it can
Oh,
never
I'm
be
with you.
in.
It takes an hour. I have to make sure I have the script, I have the stories, who's doing what, and
Yeah,
the timing. And although the timing goes out the window when you and I are
I
together,
know.
that's
I know.
that's
Well,
it.
like every week we can try again to keep it together, and every week it will fall apart. Last week we actually did good though,
Yeah,
and we had a guest. Like somehow
that's
we
true.
pulled it together. Maybe we need a third person to keep us on track. Maybe we're just, recluses.
No,
Not
it's because
recluses.
I had tickets to a Mets game, and it was I got to get out of here now.
Yeah, yeah. That'll do it. I had stuff I had to do. Yes, I had to be at a dinner, not a dinner, but a lunch. I had a friend's lunch I was at last week that I had to go to, and it wasn't right after this, but like I had to prep and do some things, and it
Ooh,
was 45-minute ride and all that kind of stuff. We have free reign today. I actually listen. I don't have anywhere to be till later. I don't have to. So
me neither.
that's up to
So
you.
I'm fine.
Now, I don't think Ron should have told us that we could just be
No,
reckless about
not
this.
at
I
all.
think that's dangerous. I think that's
Mm-mm.
dangerous.
So, to any of our co-hosts out there, if you want to join in today, we have free reign. So come on in.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
The invite's out there. So if you like the show, and why wouldn't you? Then we want you to
Uh-oh.
check us out on all the socials. Now check this out. Okay, it's on the screen as well. If you want to watch us live, you can do so at the following social medias. You can go to YouTube, Rumble, Kick. Now those are all at Rhode Island Broadcasting. If you want to watch us on Twitch, you go to it's at RI underscore broadcasting. It's on the screen, so if you want to write this down. If you want to listen to just audio, that's fine. You go to Spotify, you go to Red Circle, TuneIn, or iHeartRadio, and the tag there is at RI Broadcasting. We want you to follow us on our socials. We're on most of them. You can go to TikTok, MeWe, Blue Sky, Parlor, and even LinkedIn. And the tag there is at RI Broadcasting. And if you want to go to Twitter or X, we're there too. It's at get ready. It's at Broadcasting RI. So
Now, are you
a little
getting all
switch.
this? Are you people getting all like? Do you have your paper and pens? Are you writing all this down?
I
I just
hope
want to know.
so.
Should we
Because if
wait
you
and
want to
tell
tell your
them?
friend, you have to write
Right.
it all down.
Exactly. Exactly.
But we're not done. No. This
No.
show, the Going On Daily Morning Show, we have our own Facebook page, and it's at Going On Daily Morning Show. And we want you to subscribe. If you, I mean, it's great that you watch and listen, but if you really want to help us out, you go to Patreon. And that's at RI Broadcasting. And you can buy merch there. You got our lovely logo of Going On Daily. It's colorful, it's nice. People are going to ask you about it when you put it on a mug or a pen or a magnet or something. So get that. And then here's the interesting part. We have a website. I mean, who doesn't have a website? Which is RhodeIslandBroadcasting.net, where you can find all the information I just gave you.
Good Lord, that's so much. But yeah, but it is good to hear, even though you know everything is in one place on the website. It is good always to hear, each and every individual thing in case it catches your attention. As you're
Absolutely.
faithfully following us around because you love us so much.
Now,
That's all
according
I'm
to
gonna
the
say.
screen, there's a vote now for the Hall of Fame. What do we have up there? Our choices are Grease, Jaws, Rocky, Saturday Night Fever, or The Godfather.
Yep,
So those are some heavy hitters.
they are.
Which one would you pick if you could pick one for the Hall of Fame?
um, I can never pick one of anything. I am so bad at this. I guess I would have to. No, I see. I love them all, and so
Yes, so do I.
um, if somebody had like a gun to my head, which hopefully that never happens,
Hopefully.
I guess I would have to go with. I have to go with Greece. I think
Really?
just because I am one of the only people living on the planet where Greece came out when I was actually alive. I'm only kidding. Jaws is older, but um, I was 10, so I feel like I was at that right for that particular type of movie. I was at that right age. I feel like just to go see that in a theater, you know what I mean? And so it's important to me. It left an impression on me. Um, so
Oh,
yeah.
Grease and Jaws are tied for the lead right now. So your vote, Lena, may have just put Grease into the lead by itself.
Well, that's it.
Well, in that case,
Trophy.
just to break things up, I'm going to go with Rocky because what the hell?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. Oh, and by the way, this Patreon where we go and there's all this merch there. I'm waiting for them to put a going on daily tattoo on there. Is that happening anytime
Ooh,
soon? I want a
you mean
going
the
on daily
temporary one,
tattoo,
right?
like right inside of my face.
Okay.
I'm only kidding.
So we're going to get a face tattoo of the
Yes.
going on daily
Yes. I
logo.
want that going on daily logo right on my face or right here so that people can say, "What is that? What is that all about?" And then I
I
can break
think
it
that's
down
not a
for
bad
them.
idea. Every co-host should have a tattoo. I unfortunately would have to put it right on my forehead
I think
because
that's
there's nothing else there.
perfect. Perfect. That's my
And by the
sister.
way,
My sister
by the
just
way,
dropped a comment. Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
yes. By the way, I also want people to know
Yeah.
while we love doing the Going On Daily morning show, we
Mhm.
do, there
That's
are
nice.
more programs on the Rhode Island Broadcasting Network. Grease is good, but I have to go with Jaws. Well, everybody has an opinion, right? There are more shows. Becky, I believe, has her show now on the Rhode Island Network.
Mhm.
I'm moving my Circling the Drain podcast over here. Lena, aren't you going to be working pretty soon with another podcast?
I am working on, as we know, I'm trying to regroup on my podcast. No, that's my sister. She does not want me to have any tattoos. Okay, I won't do that.
Well,
Although
it's
I already have one, and
temporary.
she
Come
knows that.
on.
She said hi to you.
I
So yeah, I'm looking for either a new host or a new platform or theme. I want to go with the same idea, but maybe have guests. Anyway, I have been talking to um, our Lord and Master here about getting my show over.
I
Yes,
think you should do like Down the Rabbit Hole with Lena Williams because that
it
way
could be. It could be
you
something
can
like
put
that. I
together your
mean,
favorite things. You
yeah,
know.
that could be. Or something neurodivergent or MBTI related or something like that. But I already have my podcast is already like on every platform imaginable, so I would want to make sure that it did not lose that. That's what I'm trying to figure out. But anyway, moving on.
Absolutely.
Moving on.
It's Saturday, September 20th. Can you
Hmm.
believe it or not? This is our last summer podcast. Next
Yeah.
week it'll be fall.
I mean, this week coming up, man. Solstice,
Ah,
the autumnal. What do we normally call it?
go ahead and get it right because
Some
I don't know
nerd
it.
that is friends with me and watching this knows what I want to say. Equinox, I think. Autumnal equinox, I think. Yes.
Count me in
Yeah.
on Down the Rabbit Hole.
Yeah, maybe, and yes, all the true crime stuff is so hard to. I mean,
Oh my God.
I don't think I do that though, because I feel like it's oversaturated. I really feel like there's a ton of podcasts for that, and I just think I would totally get lost in what's already out there. But you never know. Could be
Hmm.
anything. We'll see. We'll see.
Maybe you could review different murder podcasts and tell them if they're
Oh,
getting it
see,
right
but
or not.
that would make me have to listen to all of them, and it would probably kill me to try to do that. There's really that many out there. There's
Okay,
really
we
that
don't
many
want
out
that
there.
then.
Right, right, right. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see.
Okay, well, like I said, it's Saturday, September 20th. Here's what we want you to know, and I'm really interested in your first
Are
topic.
you? I think that
Yes.
right after I tell you this story, after this podcast, you're gonna have to go and pull up your whatever your streaming platform is that you want to use, and you have to watch this. So,
Oh,
so
good.
okay, living in and Ron, I think
Okay.
probably Ron and I, as soon as you hear Secret Mall Apartment, you're like, oh, I know what that is. And so, growing up in Rhode Island, this little logo underneath us, right? Um, it they had mentioned it as a monstrosity, and I don't know how else to say it. When this mall was built, I think it probably was in the mid '90s, right? And
Right.
we had a really cool kind of vibe in Providence. I'm not sure if you've ever been to Providence. If anybody ever that's listening, obviously my sister and some of those people know Providence really well. But Providence is a really cool, like artistic, musical place for a lot of people. And we were going through some stuff in the '90s where we were dealing with gentrification, right?
Right.
And so, long story short, it was a really kind of not on my radar thing because I had so much going on. But there was a point in time where we heard a news story about like some kids who built a mall apartment in like a back room of this mall. And
Oh,
this, like I said, I can't remember. It was like I can't even remember how many square feet, but it's ridiculously large. This mall, it's ridiculous, and it was something that was built that nobody that lived in Providence or like was from Providence or nobody really asked for this thing. It was sort of like a politician's dream, right? To kind of bring money into the city, which in a way makes
right.
sense. Anyway, from 2003 to 2007, these kids lived in this mall. And yeah, Buddy Cianci. And there's a guy. Let me, on a side note, real quick, say look up Buddy Cianci. There's an actual book about him, which is amazing. There's a few books from old Providence and the mafia and all that kind of stuff. But Buddy Cianci is a ridiculous story that you have got to check out. It's just he was I can't even. There's no way to explain Buddy Cianci unless you knew him. Anyway,
Now I'm
basically,
interested.
yeah, Providence is like a crazy like there's so many we actually have a lot of books and history about Providence. And it's a small area, but so much went on here in the last 40 years. Anyway, the 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 kids had this apartment and it came across the news and I remember hearing about it and being like, "What? Like what?" You don't really know kind of, what the news stories at that time. I don't this is like
Right.
long before like the cable thing was going on and internet was going on. So you
Oh,
kind of have
wow.
these little sound bites, these 6 o'clock news, the 11 o'clock news. And so you got the story, but you didn't really know what was going on. You just knew that they were busted for living in the apartment in this back behind a wall thing, and they got pulled out of there. But they filmed. Eventually, you found out that they had filmed all of this.
Of course.
And of course, I have been waiting. Anybody who knows me is so sick of listening to me. I was waiting so long for them to do. I'm like, they got to do a documentary about this. They got to do a documentary about this. So probably, I would say I feel like 5 years ago or something, it was announced that, like, somebody had come along and then we're gonna put together a documentary of this footage of them living in this apartment, and I'm like,
Ooh.
"I am so
Okay.
excited, I can't wait." And so finally in 2024, last year, I think it was September, they released this. Let me look at this. Uh, Jeremy Workman did it, and I don't know if you know anything about Jeremy Workman.
No.
He's a documentary podcast guy, right?
Okay.
And he's done a few things. He's done The World Before Your Feet. He's done Lily Topples a World. He's done Magic Universe, the Deciding Vote. He just does. He kind of finds people that are sort of eccentric, or he just does sort of really cool, interesting stories for documentaries, right? So he gets on board, and Jesse Eisenberg got on board with this,
Oh, okay.
and did some promotion on it. I don't. I know that he promoted it. He kind of went around and talked about it. I'm guessing that he's close with Jeremy Workman, and that's why. And it was a very cool story as far as he was concerned. That somebody that kind of wasn't firsthand seeing it, right? But anyway, so he does this documentary. He releases it last year, and what they were doing was, I believe that was right, Ron. That spell check on Jesse Eisenberg. I think that's correct. So anyway, which rightfully so, they did Sundance and they did theaters. I mean, they didn't release it in a streaming forum for a really long time, and I was just chomping at the bit, even trying to get it. They did, I think, a lot more. I think they're still doing, in Providence Place Mall itself, which is really funny and ironic, is where they're running these. They have a theater in there, right? So they actually have several showings in Providence Place Mall of this apartment at Providence Place Mall, which I think is funny.
Really?
Anyway, but there's certain theaters that were running it, and they were really, limited times and shows. So I wasn't able to get to the theater to see it for whatever reason. It was always running at some odd day or time or whatever. So anyway, they just released this streaming. Right. So it's Jeremy Workman. It's Jesse Eisenberg. Eisenberg. Anyway, there are 8 people primarily in this podcast. Michael Townsend is the guy who kind of was the creator. And the story is, I don't want to give too much of it away, but it's interesting. The story is that like the gentrification that was going on in Providence at the time, we're like an old industrial. Well, most places in the U.S. have old industrial areas of like mill buildings and things like that.
Right.
And he sort of is an artist and is affiliated with RISD, was teaching art at RISD, that kind of stuff. And this was a piece of like living art, is what they did. And it was in protest to like this gentrification of these areas, these mill areas that were, first of all, run down after like World War II. And they kind of sat, and then eventually they became living spaces. I think unofficially they became living spaces. But anyway, when this mall was built, it was like kind of the beginning of them like demolishing and trying to repurpose areas around Providence that other people were living in or working in or using happily. But what happened is developers come in and they're like, we don't care. We know this is stuff nobody wants. Now, I look at these old buildings and in Providence, like at the time, and it's kind of like really sad because I just remember all of them. And I think they somehow should have been kept because it's history, right? I mean, obviously you got a lot of graffiti and things like that to start happening. And, obviously
when you don't use them, they're going to be taken over by, just people hanging out and destroying it. So.
Right. But there were a bunch of kids that were like, they were practicing with their band in there, things like that. That like they just and there were literally people living there. But when you gentrify a city, you displace a lot of people.
Yes.
And so this is kind of what the story is about. And so they were like, well, there's some space in this mall that like isn't being used, because the idea of gentrification is like, let's use every possible empty space we can find, whether we demolish stuff or we, and then build something, it's the old, it's the old like, right. It's like, they tore down trees, put up a parking lot. It's that kind of thing.
Yes.
So it's just interesting. I didn't know like the whole background of it. I just kind of knew that of the story. I knew they had filmed in there and that kind of stuff. And it was just, for me, it's cool, obviously, because it's firsthand information where I know all of the places that they're talking about it and everything that they filmed I've seen. But I think it was just like sort of like where they had done it for like a quick, they were doing it real quick to see like, if you can buy and use everything in this mall, and you could just like everything you would ever need for your life is in this mall. Let's like as an art project, let's try to live in this mall for a week. That's basically how it started.
I could do that easy. No problem.
Right, and then but, like, then they started to go, "Oh, well, when the sun goes down, you kinda don't know where we like, what are we gonna like, we have to figure out where we're gonna live or sleep," or and that's kind of how this whole thing
Mattress
came about.
Firm, right over there.
And they found well, that you can't really get into Mattress Firm at night. I don't think they had a store, but I'm saying they close the stores all off, and all you really got is the main areas, and then you've got security, so it's like, if we wanna live here for the night and then get up in the morning and continue this, like, where do we go? So it's actually very cool. Eventually, they got busted, right, for it. Uh, they got pretty far. They did way more than I didn't know the details, that they had built walls out of cinder blocks, that they had
Perfect.
brought in furniture, that they had, wired it, all this kind of stuff. Um, but to some degree, the gentrification that was going on around the city was causing homelessness. Like, it was creating a situation where people were not sure where to live. And so,
Right.
anyway, I'm excited about it, but because it was finally so cool to watch it. Like, there was this huge build up, and finally I got to watch it over the weekend. So it's Michael Townsend, and then there's like 7 other people: Colin, Adriana, who he was like married to at the time, Andrew, Greta, James, Emily, and Jay. These are all people that were in this apartment.
What
Um,
are the age ranges? Do we know?
at that time, they looked like they might have been 30 tops, but I think they were in their mid 20s. It was like
Okay.
they were kids. He was young, and he was an teaching at RISD, but he was pretty young at that time. I don't even think they gave us his ages, but you could tell by the video, that they were probably in their early to mid 20s. It looks like.
At the
So
time when you can actually do stuff like that and go, sounds like fun, as
yeah,
opposed to we're
I just
breaking the
laugh.
law.
I just laugh because it brings you back to 1999, and no matter where in the world you lived in 1999, it was just such a weird year. So it was
Yes.
just it was just a complete Wild West time that like we'll never get back. That like I don't know.
Ah.
But anyway, the tagline is that in 2003, 8 Rhode Islanders created a secret apartment inside a busy mall and lived there for 4 years, filming everything along the way. Um, Far more than a prank, the secret apartment became a deeply meaningful place for all involved. So, there's just a lot of it's just really cool watching it. Like I said, you got to see it. It's extremely important for people who lived here and remember it. But it's actually a really cool documentary for anybody who wants to see something cool from a local community that you know did some good. And I'm trying to think what else. I think it was released originally on March 8th, 2024. I guess that was how long. It seems like it's been going on over a year that they've been running it in theaters. And so it says right now box office is about 850,593. Now that's obviously a total that must have changed. And I think as soon as it starts to, once now that it's hit streaming, I think it's going to do really well because I think those were those sporadic theater runs that they did. And whatever, of course, I have friends that are like, if you want to see it, I can make it happen. And it's kind of like, yeah, I want to see it, but like, I actually did buy the movie and pay like the whole $50 for
Wow.
it because
Really?
it was important to
Okay.
me. It was cool, and it was worth it to give it to whoever is getting it. And I'm pretty sure in this type of situation, it was pretty much a local profit situation. But Plex, Fandango, Google Play, Apple TV, Amazon Prime, and YouTube all at this point have it. You can rent it for somewhere around $4 to $5, or you can buy it for about 14 or something like that, depending on where you're looking. But there you go. Yeah, half of those ticket sales are in Rhode Island. They did. I think the Rhode Island had the most like theaters running it. But like I said, it was really odd and sporadic and offbeat, like meaning they had probably whatever their really regular features were, and then they probably fit this in wherever they could get it. It didn't run like a regular movie, like trust me, I tried to go and it was like, I'm not, it's once on Tuesday night at 8, and then once that Friday night at 12 noon or what it was like that kind of thing, and I was just like,
They
damn
can
it.
only get that time.
And
Yeah.
it's right around the corner for me, but I just can't go at these times. And so anyway, that was it was just a really cool. So if there's actually a secret mallapartment.com, go there. Everything is
Ooh.
there.
Okay. I gotta go check that one out.
And when you do go there, the first thing you see is the picture of the actual, like they had a really a camera that they were filming with was like, rudimentary at that time. 2003 to 2007 is like, so they had this little camera that like wasn't even supposed to be for pictures, but they used it for movies. At the time, it's just, it's old. It's hard to, you could see stuff, but it's not like clear, crystal clear like we have now.
Right.
But the first thing you see is a picture of just like them sitting in this apartment, um, watching something on TV or whatever. But it's actually a pretty cool story. So I just wanted
See,
to gush about it because it was great.
now I
They did deserve a
understand.
Nobel Prize for that. You'll never know. We'll see.
We'll
But
get to that later.
exactly, you never know. Like it could. Want to see how it does. Now that it's hit streaming, I'll keep an eye on like sort of like what, how many people have seen it or how much it's been shown, or there must be digital statistics on all that stuff. So, yeah. Anyway, that's a little secret Providence Mall apartment segment.
Now, I understand, like you said, they brought in furniture,
Hmm.
and you can bring in food. You can go out, or even when the mall's open, there's plenty of food
That was
there.
pretty much what
When
they
you
did. I mean, they had a food court very close to where they had this thing,
So you're
and
good. You
you
could
know,
siphon off the electricity because, like
yep.
you said, they were shown inside.
Hmm.
What do you do for the bathroom? You said there are security guards around, so they couldn't come out at night.
So I'm not sure how. I mean, I think there's probably a bathroom very close to where they were living. That I think I actually there is a little section, and Ron, I don't know if you saw this movie, but there's a little section where they're showing all the places that you can use from the mall to access this apartment. And there was a bathroom in the food
Different
court, and I
exit.
believe there was like a literal like trap door over one of the toilets. I swear that they came in and went out of, and there's a shot of them doing that. So that's probably what they did. I think they got most of their bathroom stuff done while the mall was open because I think the mall closed at like 10 or 11. It was pretty late. Um, and they would probably get up and running fairly early, 8 o'clock, something like that.
Well, you
So
have to be up and running before the mall is up and running. I mean,
exactly. So like I think all the stores are probably opened at 10, but I think there might have been a Dunkin' Donuts in there or whatever. But I think them sweeping and cleaning and getting everything organized probably they opened at 7 or 8 in the morning. So
show up in your robe and slippers at Dunkin'. What the hell are you doing? Don't worry about it.
exactly. And you know what? Yeah, like Ron said, there was a movie theater in there as well. So they did have some parts of that mall open after midnight because they had a David Buster's in there. Yeah, they had some restaurants in there that ran late. So there was probably a very small window of time where like it was closed everywhere because there were a couple of establishments in there that went late anyway. So there was probably a ton of bathrooms, even like in restaurants or whatever. I mean, you could run in and out of a place real quick, and most people aren't going to think anything of it. So, but I don't know, it was pretty cool. There's some stuff that comes from Rhode Island that I love, and this is just one of those things that like I just thought it was just cool, especially being from here. But anyway,
Oh, well, definitely if you know all the areas.
yeah, yep.
But I
So
mean, more and more malls are now closing,
right,
and they're
and
just these
so
big empty spaces.
the thing is that the mall, I believe, right now is in a state of flux because it's has not paid bills. It's in the red, so they're
Oh,
not sure what to do with it. And the funny, ironic thing about it is they're probably going to start chopping it up and putting apartments in it,
I have no problem with that.
which would have already like that's sort of what I mean. It's kind of funny that like they got busted for doing that. I mean, obviously it wasn't
Hmm.
a standard rated, type thing, but like now that if they turn it into a bunch of apartments, it would just be funny to know that that's like how it turned out with everything that they did. But anyway, it was really good. It was funny.
And you said something before. I was thinking about it. Okay, before they turn them into apartments, it's
Hmm.
just sitting there empty, not doing anything. Why not make it a place where bands can go in? You
Hmm.
here's $20. We're gonna go in, and here this part's a rehearsal space, and
Right.
there's artists over there, and there's games over there. Why not make it a place for
I
people to
mean,
congregate?
I've been having this conversation with some friends of mine for years and years and years. Like, first of all, just the fact that when you look back, like we were kids and we were like, whatever, doing our own thing. But when you look back, look at the nonsense we did to build these ridiculous things.
Yeah.
Like the stuff we did, like the all the stuff we raised, the woods and the nature, and to build these nonsense things that everybody comes and walks around, and then like it goes out of style. And if you're into urbex like I am, I mean, there are channels upon channels of malls that are just empty. That
Yeah.
now kids are walking through and filming and showing. Here's where Bed Bath and Beyond used to be. Here's where this particular place used to be.
Brookstone.
Right. And so I think you can do it, but like we've had actual productive conversations about how would that look,
Oh.
right? I mean, you would have to have people turning it into a greenhouse is one thing, but you'd have to have somehow there would have to be some kind of somebody's got to keep all that up. So there's got to be money spent and employees brought in for certain things like the
Well,
floor
I mean,
being
but if you're
clean and
charging, I mean, imagine,
right,
like you said, I'll take his greenhouse, Ron's greenhouse idea.
right,
Why don't we have like a farmer's market every Sunday? You're
yeah,
only hiring people during that day. You're only, yeah.
right.
There is a way to do this
There
that
is, I
will
think it
keep
can
them
be done.
employed.
I think a lot of cities, in my opinion, they move their money elsewhere, and I honestly believe a lot of cities and a lot of budgets they don't want to pay for it. They just don't want to pay for it. And these malls have to be, like I said, it takes very little time because I watch so much urbex for these malls to just fall apart. Like
Yeah,
without anybody in them for like 4 months.
yeah.
Like it's amazing the like the degradation that happens, like how quickly the place decelerates into nonsense, right? Without all these people living in there every day cleaning and doing whatever they normally do,
I can
and lights
imagine.
and electricity. So now when you do say, all right, I want to take this mall and turn it into a thing, you have to like bring it up to code. And the way to
True.
bring it up to code is to usually talk to the city, and somebody has to approve projects for that. And now you're getting
That'll
into
take
city
forever.
government, and they're not gonna if
Hmm.
they do it, they're gonna do it. Maybe they put money aside, but then somebody comes along and takes half of what's allotted for that and uses it for something else. You get people that try to come in and take money for their own gain. Like all that starts happening when you start dealing with like city projects. So how much of it's going to get done? How quick is it going to get done? And how much are they going to think it's worth the money they put into it for what they're getting out of it? Like that's really what ends up happening,
It is,
right?
but it's the people who
It's just
come up with
sad,
the weird ideas
right?
that change things. I have friends today.
Hmm.
They are wrestling fanatics,
Right.
and whether you
I have
know or
those
you
too.
don't know,
Yeah.
whether you know or don't know. As a matter of fact, I'm wearing my Austin shirt today.
Uh-huh.
If you know or don't know,
Mhm.
WWE, the big wrestling place,
Mhm.
has switched to ESPN, and they're charging a ridiculous amount to go watch their
Mhm.
pay-per-views.
Right.
Somebody decided we're going to put it in a movie theater. Come see it in IMAX.
Yeah.
Pay $20, and they said that's a wonderful idea. And apparently, it's doing well, and they're going to make some money off of this.
Yeah.
I don't see why you can't take this large empty space, which is dying,
Right.
and just rework it
Like I
and
said,
and make
it
money.
it sounds like a good idea, but then like when you get into the like brass tacks of it, okay, this place has been sitting here for most of these malls have been sitting around for 5 years, and there's been no work done to them, and there's been no electricity, and there's been
Yeah,
and so you now have to come in and make it safe for people to come into, because if you don't, that's a problem.
you're
So
gonna get sued.
you got to bring in your restoration people. You got to rebuild stuff. You got to come in and like make it safe
I'm
code
sorry.
wise. I
I
know.
love this comment from Cynthia. I
Yeah.
would have been caught immediately, caused by the fear of being caught, which
Exactly.
is the thing.
That's my buddy Cindy. I've known her since I was 12, I think. But yeah. Yeah, it's funny because there's parts in the movie where they show the fact that they're artists and they're kind of in Providence and they usually walk around Providence and do art. They have to deal with people
Right?
asking them questions all the time. And so Michael Townsend was like, I know how to look somebody straight in the eye and just give them some information that'll work for me getting what I need to get done because I've been doing it
Yeah.
for 10 years. So they didn't have any idea how they were going to explain themselves, but they were like, we're so used to this being in like an urban city and walking around and whatever, making art outside, whatever it is, and having cops come up and ask us questions and having.
Oh yeah.
So he's just like, there was no. They weren't actually trying to. They actually were trying to do this as long as they could do it, and expected to get caught at some point. And they were just like, well, we'll deal with it until like it blows over, like whatever, or it blows over into something. So they were expecting to get caught, and they weren't trying to not get caught. Does that make sense? They were just
Yes.
trying to see how long we could do this, but before somebody picks up
Until
on this.
someone
And
catches us and
then we'll
throws
just
us
be like,
out.
oh, hey, it took us 3 months, it took us 6 weeks, whatever it was, and it just happened to go for 4 years, before they got busted. And they did some funny stuff up until they got busted that you're like, how did they do this? And nobody, like, some of the stuff they did was amazing. That, like, I guess in everyday life, people just sort of are walking around doing their own thing and they're really not paying attention to anything around them. And these kids, for the most part, just kind of were able to like blend and go stealth. And I mean, kids in a mall, you probably don't even pay attention to kids in a mall anyway.
No,
Just
that's the
because
problem.
that's their demographic. So there's like, how do you pick out which 8 kids get an apartment in the mall as opposed to like the other 30,000 kids that are walking to the mall for other stuff? You really can't. So it makes sense. It's kind of funny that they were able to just sort of like blend in and do their thing and then live there. It's just
And I'm
funny.
sure, like you said, 4 years. I'm
Yeah,
sure every month they were like, well, let's try this and push the envelope a
that's
little bit.
exactly what they did. They were like,
Yeah.
let's do this. Oh, we got away with that. And then they said you were living under a constant, at any time somebody could walk into this apartment. At any time, at any day for 4 years, they were like, somebody could walk in here suddenly because like there's people walking around, checking doors, security doing things, whatever. And at some point they were expecting to be walked in on, and it just didn't happen for 4 years. But you think about it, that's a long time. So
Yeah, I think
yeah,
Ron's right. Sure, most people question it, but no one makes it public because we just don't care. Everyone's involved in their own stuff. You
right.
look for a second, go, that's odd, and then back to me. You know?
That's the thing. I do believe people are so caught up in their own little worlds and their own little routines that they might notice something for a minute, but like I think people are less observant, in my opinion, than like they say they are or they think
Oh,
they are.
absolutely.
And
Well,
so, I would have. There were, like I said, there's some parts in the movie where they're doing stuff, and you're just like, how is nobody seeing this? How is this happening? But I guess with so much chaos in a mall and whatever, the people that saw it just went, well, that looks interesting. But think about it. Why would anybody? I guess you wouldn't really stop and call anybody. Why would you do that?
no,
You're there to shop and leave. Like you're not.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I think most
Somebody else
people.
will take care of this, not me.
That's
Right?
kind of it. And not that anybody had like the right to stop these kids. Like they had no jurisdiction, or these people. There were no civilians that thought like that should have had whatever you want to call it, the right to stop these kids from doing anything. But anyway, I'm glad
Well,
they didn't because it was none of their business. But I'm just saying,
well,
yeah,
Ron said earlier
yeah,
that these people should be nominated for a Nobel Prize. Maybe not that Nobel Prize, but there is another Nobel Prize that maybe people don't know about.
okay,
And it's called the IG
hmm
Nobel Prize. And it is awarded, believe it or not, for scientific research that makes people laugh at first and then think, hey, wait a minute, that actually could be useful.
hmm
So they just had the nominations now. Okay, think about this. This is the 35th first annual IG Nobel Prize Awards. I had to read that like 20 times and go, wait, the 35th first annual, how does
yeah. I
that
don't
work?
even know
I
what
don't
you just
understand.
said. What does that mean?
I have no idea, but
Okay,
after reading the Nobel Prize Awards that I'm going to read to you,
okay,
I guess it'll make sense because they're all weird.
okay.
So these were handed out.
Weird is good.
Oh, absolutely. The prizes are intended to celebrate the unusual, honor the imaginative, and spur people's interest in science, medicine, and technology. Beautiful. You're
Okay.
thinking, well, these are people who are pushing the boundaries, like we discussed, helping
hmm
people. Well, let's try to figure out how they're helping people. This
Mm.
year's literature prize was awarded for someone who persistently recorded and analyzed the rate and growth of one of his fingernails for over 35 years.
Okay.
Please explain to me how that is helping the scientific community.
I don't know. I'm sure somebody in the scientific community can find a way to make that work. I
I'm
don't know.
hoping.
I don't know myself, but who knows? Maybe he has a specific blood type or body type or something that like will help people with that specific makeup know whatever it is
I
about.
can't quite put my finger on the answer. Thank you, Ron Rimshot. But
Oh, that's great.
well, let's put it this way: does anybody actually know the rate that your fingernails grow? I don't know.
Yes, I mean I'm sure it's been studied from like in an average way. I mean it's got to be medically studied, but this one person, I don't know if you can take this one person and apply it in any way that's useful to the the masses. I don't think,
How
but
do you even measure that? I mean, over 35 years, is it every day? Is it every week? Is it
I don't
every
know.
month?
That's weird, but
It's
okay.
just weird. But and by the way, that is the literature prize. So I guess for him documenting that,
Okay.
I couldn't even guess.
Hmm.
The psychology prize was for analyzing how when people receive a high IQ score, it gives them temporary narcissism.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I understand that one. Oh, look, I'm smarter than you. Well, thank you.
Right.
I feel pretty good about that. So and it fits psychology. So
Yeah.
I'm on board with that one. Okay, this year's nutrition prize was awarded to a study of rainbow lizards at a seaside resort in Togo.
Okay.
Okay, so you're thinking, okay, what did the lizards eat? It's about nutrition. Well, they studied the rainbow lizards' eating pattern of what type of pizza they prefer.
Okay.
And apparently, the lizards on Togo like four cheese pizza better than any other. Put pepperoni, put out, I don't know, crickets,
Well, that's a good
whatever.
ad. The pizza place. I think that's about it, though.
Little Caesars, we're preferred by more lizards on Togo than anywhere
Yep.
else.
Rainbow lizards love our stuff. Four cheeses.
I like that one. That should have been the advertising award then.
Yeah.
Okay. The pediatrics prize was
Hmm.
given to studying how an infant reacts when nursing on their mother after the mother has eaten garlic.
Okay. Okay.
This won an award. I don't understand, but that's just it. It's supposed to make you laugh and then think. I'm still thinking that's what you wanted to study. How long did you do this? Were there multiple children involved? Were
I
there different
honestly,
types of garlic involved?
I honestly wonder if like there are people who have this like award on their radar, and then they spend like all this time trying to figure out what to use to submit. Like I honestly believe,
Possibly.
and they just go, well, I just did this today. Maybe that could be a thing. Oh, I'm running out of time, so let me just study this and submit it. And probably nobody will care anyway, and then it ends up winning. That's the only thing I could think of that would make
Well,
like sense.
yeah. How do you even submit? I'm just
I don't,
wondering. Like,
I don't know. Like, but maybe they find one thing they like or do or whatever, and they just hone in on it. Well, I can't come up with anything else, so this is a good thing as any. And then it just like randomly wins for whatever reason. I don't
like
know.
the guy with the fingernails. Were they sitting around one day at a party and somebody goes, "My fingernails seem to grow pretty fast." Well, how fast? I don't know. I'm gonna find out.
I
And that
guess.
was his passion for 35 years.
Oh man.
Okay, the award for the biology prize determined that cows. Uh, okay, yeah, I'm reading this right. cows that have been painted like zebras. So
Oh,
they actually
I've
physically
heard
painted them.
about this. I have heard about
You've heard
this.
about this.
I have.
50% of the stripes, they don't say if it were the black ones or the white ones, are less likely to be bitten by flies.
I have for whatever
Oh,
reason, flies.
oh, there you are. You froze for a sec.
Yeah, yeah. For whatever reason, flies uh don't. I don't know what it is about zebras that flies don't want or don't like or whatever, but that pattern is enough for flies to be like, yeah, I'll skip this. Now, I don't know how you would start off figuring out about how to get that done. I mean, I guess it makes sense that you can tell how much zebras are bitten and what they're bitten by and that kind of stuff, right? You can start with that and then say, and this is my weird brain, right? Trying to flush it out, right?
I just want to know who was sitting around. Okay, we're going to paint cows
Well,
to
I
look
don't
like
think that's what
zebras.
happened. I think like somebody knows enough about like bugs and cows in a field, or excuse me, zebras in a field to know, oh, you know, it's weird. Zebras don't get bitten by this particular fly.
No, that
Why
can't be.
is that? Why is that? You know, it gets bitten by all these other animals in the same area get bitten by these flies, but not these zebras. I wonder why, and then come up with maybe it's their marking. I think that's enough to.
So you physically go out, you can't go out and study zebras at the zoo and look at them. You have to go, well, we have some
Well,
cows and we have some black
I
and
think they studied
white
zebras
paint.
at the zoo and then realized that other animals did. I'm telling you that other animals didn't get bit by those same flies, and they painted an animal a zebra color to see if the flies changed their habits. That makes sense. That
I'm
actually makes
telling you,
sense.
I'm going to paint my arm and see what happens now.
Okay,
That's it.
I
Black
think
and
you
white
should.
stripes.
But what flies? You know?
I want to see what's going to bite me.
Okay.
Maybe I'll win an award. We don't know.
Right.
Uh, okay, the chemistry prize was when for someone who decided, hmm, if I eat small amounts of Teflon, is that a way to increase my food volume, fill up your stomach without any extra calories?
Okay. That's idiot. That's an idiot. I hope he knows he's eating Teflon anyway. First of all,
Well,
it's in
I'm
everything.
sure it just slid through his system.
Yeah, like I don't know. That's interesting. What did they discover? Did they know?
No, that's just it. They
He
tell
doesn't
me who
even tell
won
you
the
what
award,
happened.
but they
Okay.
don't tell me, exactly what. I guess we could look up each individual
Yeah.
one.
Okay.
That there you go, going down the rabbit hole with Linda Williams at
I know.
IG
I
prizes.
know. I have to know. I have to know. That's weird. Yeah. Oh, that's hilarious, Ron. But yeah, it's true. Um.
Well, here is the IG Nobel Peace Prize.
Okay.
The Peace Prize was presented for a study that found that if you drink alcohol, it improves your ability to speak a foreign language. Or maybe you just think it improves your ability to speak. I know if I drink
Right.
too much, I'm speaking in a language that no one else can understand.
Right.
So why not?
Like who's saying that that's true? The person that's drunk, because that's not a very good study.
That's what I'm saying. The guy's sitting there going, I can speak full French. Watch. See, perfect. See,
But me and
absolutely
my rabbit
perfect.
hole brain, right? Do you have inhibitions learning another language that are dropped when you drink?
Ooh.
So that you pick up things like accents and like like however your inflections or things like that you normally would
Hmm.
have English be in the way or your native language be in the way of using those words the way they're supposed to be to get your message across. Maybe when you're drunk, it's easier for you to pick up like the culture or the sound of somebody else, some other language that you can't do when you're sober.
Ron says you have more of an open mind when you're drunk.
Right.
Now, I'd like to run an experiment with someone and try to teach them a second language, but I only teach them when they're drunk. So
Okay.
that maybe when they're sober, they go, I can't speak Spanish. But when they're drunk, it just flows out of them.
So what if they learn it when they're drunk, but then all of a sudden one day they're walking around sober and they start speaking Spanish and they're like, "Why is this happening?"
Okay, hold on. I want that award. That's the one I want.
Okay, I think you should do it, and I think you should let us know.
Okay, for
Oh my
the
goodness.
engineering uh, Nobel Prize, the IG Nobel Prize,
Hmm.
analyzing and engineering a design perspective of how foul-smelling shoes affect the experience of a shoe rack. So you have all good-smelling shoes, but one pair of foul-smelling shoes, and it affects everything. That won an engineering
Okay.
prize.
Of course I have
I mean,
questions, but I don't think they have any explanation. Like, are we talking
yeah.
about
Okay, so
does the rack matter, or are we talking about all the other shoes? Like, if you did it on a floor or somewhere else that's not a
yeah,
rack, does that matter? Is it about the rack? Is it about the other shoes? What's the deal?
because
What's
I'm
happening?
thinking like if I put something foul-smelling in my refrigerator,
Hmm.
well, it's going to affect everything.
Right. So, like, is that all they're trying to do? Like, or like, who knows, right?
And this person dedicated time to this and won an award. So there we go.
Okay.
And finally, the IG Nobel Prize for Physics was given for analyzing the properties of pasta sauce, the phase transition that can lead to clumping. So this
Okay.
person wants to know why pasta sauce clumps, and he won
Okay.
a prize for physics.
Oh, that's interesting. That's cool. That's kind of cool. I like
Well, I
that.
wonder if temperature had anything to do with that.
It might not. It might be specific. It might really be specific parts of the sauce that are in a ratio that creates whatever, or the way you stir it, or anything. Could be anything. But that's pretty cool. I like that. I don't know if it
So
helps.
remember,
It might help. It might help chefs. Like, it could be something,
there you go.
you know?
The sauce matters. It does.
It
Now
always does.
remember, folks, if somebody tells you when you're just wasting your time, remember, you could win an
Yeah.
IG Nobel Prize. And maybe these people did because, Lena, you have a story about Apple AirPods.
Right. So, and I just wanted to say real quick, Ron, is it sauce or is it gravy? You have to figure it out. I think
It's sauce.
If you're in Rhode
It's
Island, it's gravy.
sauce.
Yeah, I know.
Sauce.
I know. That's like a common.
I
They call
know.
it, like, everybody's arguing over that. So, Apple's new $250 AirPods. I read an article in the New York Times by Brian X. Chen, and it
Hmm.
was a technology article related to these AirPods. I don't know if anybody's heard of them, but it's sometimes technology and AI is like can be nefarious, or
A lot.
not good for society. But, like,
Mm.
sometimes AI and technology can do a thing that, like, is actually useful. So now, if you have an Apple phone, you already have the Translate app, I'm sure.
I do.
And in which case you can use that app for wherever you're at. I think there's ways to use it and levels of ways to use it. You can just open it, type things. I think you can open it in a conversation. You can leave it open, and it
Yes.
will translate both sides of the conversation. So AI and these new AirPods, and I think it looks like some of the older ones too, but you'd have to upgrade the software on them or the firmware on them. But I think it's AirPods Pro 3, AirPods Pro 2, AirPods 4, right? The 3 is okay, but with the 2 and the 4, you have to, like, do a software update to get it up to speed to have it translate in real time. But if you have AirPods in, you can open that app up and or have it running in the background, and it will actually translate a language for you. I think you have to select the language. I think there may be a place where you can go in and say, detect this automatically. But anyway,
Right.
when someone speaks, and it's real-time translation powered by AI, it's basically what it
Oh, I
is.
was going to ask that. Yeah.
Making cross-language conversations more natural than with past translation tools, right? So it's a little less, hey, hang on a minute, I got to open my app. Okay, let me say, okay, people are talking German in here. Let me tell this to translate German. I think it's sort of a little more fluid than that, right? So when
Wow.
someone speaks, Siri instantly translate. It plays the translation in the user's ear. A transcript also appears in the Translate app itself, right? I think it looks like iOS 26 is what it's required for this.
Okay.
Apple Intelligence has to be enabled, which is Apple's AI system. And the Translate app with downloaded languages, current options include Spanish, French, German, Portuguese, and English. And then they're working on adding Hindi and Vietnamese and some other stuff. And
I
so
would think
probably
eventually, yeah, you have to
not
have
very,
everything.
yeah, in very short time, I'm sure we'll be seeing those as options.
And
So
drunkish from,
yeah,
the
there you go.
previous conversation.
Exactly. Um, you need a recent iPhone, i15 Pro or 16 series or newer. Obviously, we haven't gotten anything newer than that, but that's the oldest it can be. Advantage over older tech, unlike Google Translate or Microsoft Translator, which force users to hold up a phone and often gave like clunky results for what you're
Mm,
doing.
done
AirPods
it.
enable hands-free, near-instant translators in context. And in context is a big thing when you're translating of like what it is that's being said, but also what the overall message is.
Mm,
I think that's been a problem for translation
it
so
has
far.
been a lot.
You know,
I had to use
um,
it, so yeah.
yeah. So that's kind of cool that in context is good. I mean, it that's probably the best it's been yet. With what's going on, and then the useful cases for this, it would be helpful for travelers, immigrant families, contractors, global workplaces. That's kind of
Yep.
right. Works best if both people wear the AirPods, but it's still valuable even if only one does. So imagine if two people are doing it. Um, you could
Oh,
just talk your regular language and the other person just hears it and you go back and forth and it's effortless. And so that's what's cool. I think we're going to get to a point where a lot of people are going to have that capability. And I think that's useful, helpful. Um, narrows the world down a little more to an understandable thing. I kind of like it, right? Why it's better, it's built on large language models, which use context to produce more accurate translations than old
good.
word by word systems. And then some of the limitations that it could still miss emotional and cultural nuances, which is fair.
Um,
That's fair. I think greetings in Morocco, things like that, like you can understand why that might be a little bit problematic, right?
of course.
But it's not magic. It can't do everything. But this is pretty good. Uh, so the bigger picture just shows Apple is still competing in the AI space after stumbling with other features. Translation through earbuds could normalize everyday use of this technology. And the takeaway from this is that it makes translation up to currently faster, easier, more practical than phone-based tools, potentially transforming how people bridge language barriers in daily life. So that's the cool thing about it, is that like it's just on the fly, and that's so much nicer to just be walking through. Like I think it's
Yes.
a point in time where it's just going to detect and translate. Hey, whatever you hear, translate to English, and you can just walk around and live your life. And uh, there's also some other stuff like if if you're somewhere around people, you can find out whether they're talking about you now.
That's what I was getting at. Like the old joke of, what do you call it, a woman in a nail salon and you
Right,
don't know what they're saying about you.
right.
Now you will. You're walking down the street and you hear somebody speaking something, and now you
Yep.
find out they're insulting you.
So one of my favorite I have a lot of strange Facebook accounts and Google accounts I follow, and one of them is a woman who does um lip reading, which is so
Oh,
cool, right?
yes.
And the reason I love it is because what she normally does is she translates like celebrity videos where like celebrities are
Yes.
sitting, at some award show and they're talking to each other. And everybody comes up with, I just think people are so funny. They come up with the most outlandish stuff that they
Oh,
think these people
absolutely.
are saying. And when you finally hear what the lip reading, it's like the dumbest stuff. It's like, hello, hi.
Mhm.
Oh no, I didn't realize you would the seat was taken. It's the dumbest stuff, right? The
Nice to
reason
meet
that
you. You know.
I love it because the concept of like how the brain translates things that it can't understand and it just creates these stories that don't exist. just from, I don't know if we like things to be really exciting or whatever it is, but for some reason, what we think is happening when we can't get the meaning of it is way more like story-like than like what's actually happening. And so
Oh, absolutely.
that's why I love lip reading, because this is kind of like this, these two people talking at this award show, or this person standing in front of a bunch of cameras, is she's not saying any, I don't know. It just makes me laugh because it's so boring when you finally find out what it is, that it's just funny.
Absolutely.
Right. So I think for whatever reason, like if you do have a lip reading ability, of walking down the street and just, being able to see what people say, but now walking past people that are speaking another language, probably it'll be the same effect where like they'll be, once you finally find out what they're saying, you'll be like, oh, that's all. They're just talking about like how long they've been in a parking spot or whatever, like where you think it's this exotic, exciting thing that they're
No.
talking about, and you find out it's just like, oh, they needed to validate their parking ticket. Oh, they were talking about how they need another cup of coffee. That's it. We'll just find out how much more boring everybody's conversation is at the end of the day. But I'm a realist, so I enjoy that. I like the fact that we don't spin stories about stuff we don't know. I think it would be nicer to know,
So,
the reality
is
of
there
it.
going to be a future murder podcast about somebody who was walking down the street and these two guys are discussing a murder plot in another language, and he accidentally hears what's
That will
going
happen.
on? And
No doubt that's going to happen. No doubt. And for lip readers, that's probably already happened, right? Unfortunately, I don't think you can build any kind of case on something like that. But I think maybe with these AirPods, you might.
there we go. And then Apple gets involved, and it's a whole big thing.
Yeah, but I mean, that's kind of a funny story, but that you're a funny example. But that's probably something that'll happen. We'll find out. The Google car that
Yes.
goes around. I mean, that Google car has found quite a few, has solved quite a few cases that like it wouldn't have had it not ordinarily been in the mix, where they've actually
There are
gotten
people who have
pictures.
sued. Yeah.
But it's kind of like, well, I think they literally found somebody like loading a body into a car that Google went by. I swear to God, this is the kind of stuff I watch, right? There's this one channel where they're like, it's like stuff that Google, the Google car or Google Maps has found, like that has solved cases. And like there was one guy that he did a bunch of stuff in the U.S. He was like wanted. He was on the FBI's first best wanted, and like went to another country and was and opened a store, right? And the local it changed his name and everything. It opened a store, and they came outside and was talking to a customer, and Google Maps went by and took a shot of him, and they were like, "This is this dude we've been looking for 22 years in this country that like got on a plane and left." So like, I think that's so cool. Like, when technology, it fills in holes like that.
It can.
Right. So who knows?
Now that you mentioned that, when I saw this, I have seen one commercial for this, and it's a man going in and he's introducing his girlfriend to his family, and she sits there and she goes, "But I don't speak whatever language they speak. How am I going to talk to them?" And he takes out the earpod, puts it in her ear, and says, "Don't worry, you won't have a problem." So I know that's out there now, and it's a great thing, and hopefully it will bring people together rather than breaking them apart. But
I hope so. I mean, every single technology has a downside, right? So
absolutely.
Let's hope this is more up than down. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are sometimes you have to go back to the simple things, but sometimes the simple things in our lives, we've outgrown them.
Yeah.
And
so what a segue, man.
Thank you. I work on these,
I guess so. You did.
And my next story is things we've outgrown according to this list, but I'm wondering, have we? So let's have a discussion.
Okay.
As we grow into adulthood, many things that once fit our lives, habits, beliefs, possessions, no longer serve us in the same way. Here are some things that they believe that we have outgrown. Oh my God, does he have the video of the body?
Yep.
Oh, geez.
If he didn't, I would have sent it to you. There's a whole thing.
I do want to see that. So the first thing, and as you could see, Ron has, I think, is that like a Lego house or is that
I think it looks like a
colorful Lincoln
Lego.
logs?
I think it's a Lego structure of some sort.
Could be.
It looks like
The first
like
thing
an
that
outhouse or a public bathroom more than a house, but that's okay. It's
it kind of
something.
does actually. The first thing they have is childhood toys, stuffed animals, or action figures.
Okay.
So, do you think we've outgrown them?
Uh, well, I think for the most part, I think it depends. At average, in an average world, I think we have.
Yeah.
Because what that stuff is for when you're in your formidable years. It's the whole point of those toys. However, I know a lot of people with stuffed animals that are way too old to have them,
Well, do you have anything of that from your
including
childhood that you're
myself.
like, this is mine?
It's me. I'm the person. No, but
You're the,
collectibles. Yeah. There are people who. I mean, if you've ever seen the 40-year-old virgin, you know what I'm saying.
oh
Where
God, yeah.
he's just got everything. I don't know if it's still packaged or not, but I think it is. Like, oh, this is me worth money someday. I'm collecting
Hmm.
these things, these superheroes, or yeah, Star Wars is one of them, or something like that, where you're getting maybe a value if you keep it in a good condition for a later, like an investment, maybe. There are people
Well,
who do that, but
didn't McDonald's just put out adult Happy Meals because the adults actually miss the toys that they used to get?
yes, I don't know if it was recently, but I did see that. And I have people that do complain. I don't eat McDonald's, but for those who do, complaining about how the Happy Meal is just a better thing, and like, why can't adults just have something like that? And McDonald's, if they hear anything for 2 seconds, they're like, "Oh, that's an
Hmm.
idea. Let's just put it into
Let's make
motion."
money.
So
Uh,
yeah, the toys are
I
the
could
and
tell
yeah.
you, I have one action figure because
Okay.
someone special gave it to me, and that person isn't in my life anymore.
Okay.
So I have one wrestling action figure, and that's probably the only one I've ever had. And I can tell you, my daughter
Mm-hmm.
had to have when she went away, when she went anywhere, had her stuffed raccoon named Slumber. We named it Slumber because she wouldn't sleep without it.
Yeah.
And she's 23, about to be 24. Oh God, my daughter's gonna be 24 soon, and she
Yeah.
still has Slumber, and he's got to have a special place on the bed, and so I
I
mean,
mean, yeah.
but she's not getting any new stuffed animals, you
No,
know.
no. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I think a lot of that stuff is like sentimental stuff. It's older stuff that
Yes.
you've had since you were a kid. That it makes sense. A lot of people have something like that.
So as we've discovered, I don't think you've outgrown them.
Hmm.
If you're using it, like you said, if it's a value, that could be a business.
Yeah.
If it's sentimental value, it's fine. But I'm not going out right now to buy the newest Monopoly, you know?
Oh well, I never did that. I know people who did though. Yeah, that's a thing for some people. Different
Okay, so
Monopoly
for that one.
sets, right?
Now, this one goes back, the next two really go back to late teens, early 20s. That time when you moved out and you were on your own for a bit.
Hmm.
Posters on the wall.
Yeah,
No,
that was
no
me.
frame. Just
That was me.
I bought this poster and putting it on the
Anybody
wall.
who ever came to my house when the first place I moved to, they'll tell you that was all over my house. Living
Of
room,
course.
bedrooms, everywhere. Because I was a DJ and I worked at a record company or a record store. Sorry, and then I also worked at a radio
Oh,
station. So I had so much promotional stuff all over my walls. I can't even tell you. But it was
and they
really cool
weren't in
stuff, and I
frames,
wish I
right?
still had it. Nothing in frames. The
Nope.
big poster of the Janet Jackson album. The big
Oh
poster
God.
of like oh god, Blind Melon, the little girl with the outfit and the tap shoes, like all that kind of
No
stuff was
rain.
all over the
Yeah.
place. Yeah. So basically, that's what I had. You know.
Okay, if anybody's out there, you comment if you still have posters on your wall that are it's art. Okay, but if it's art, you put it in a frame and you protect it, not just four pieces of scotch tape in the corners
Right.
or fun tack,
I mean, I think my
which
Janet
came along
Jackson was
later.
framed. To be honest with you, I think my Janet Jackson was framed. My Mariah Carey was framed.
Ooh, see,
But
it meant
Mariah Carey
something to you.
signed something and all that other stuff, so I made sure I put that stuff in a frame at the time. But anyway, yeah,
Okay. Cheap furniture. Everybody ran to IKEA because that's the only thing you could get. You need to get the splurg
it
and
didn't.
put
Yeah,
that together.
it didn't. It didn't exist when I was a kid, so that was after my time.
When
Yeah,
you moved out into your first apartment, there was no IKEA.
not really. Not that I
Oh,
knew.
I
Not in our
remember.
area. Yeah, maybe in New York there was, but not where I live.
I remember. My first couch was given to me by someone,
Hmm.
and I thought it was a huge deal when I went out to IKEA and got my first dining room table. It was
Yep,
like, oh my god, I'm an adult. I bought a dining room table.
I know.
But
Well,
I think you do grow out of it, and at a certain point, you go, no, I'm not going to put together this furniture. I'm going to go, you know,
right,
get it delivered in one piece.
right.
This is one. Staying up all night and being able to function the next day.
Oh
I've
yeah.
I've given up.
I
I
can't
can't.
even tell you for how long I did that. I mean, we're Gen X. Gen Xers were just another breed in the sense that we did when we were younger. We went out partying, we went out to breakfast, and then went to work. Like this was nothing.
Yep.
We would show up with my friend. I have a friend Paula, who I haven't seen her in years. But she used to say, "You're looking at yesterday's hair. You're looking at yesterday's outfit. You're looking at we'd come in with the stamps on us from wherever we went to see a band.
Hmm.
They'd be the stamp that we once we got in. All that stuff would just go straight to work. Like why bother? If we lay down for 20 minutes, we're gonna miss the day. So we would just keep going. Yeah, we just and I as a DJ, I literally work 5 nights a week sometimes and a full daytime job.
And you woke up, right?
And it was like we all would sit till 3 or 4 in the morning in these bars that we worked in and talk. Well, sometimes we had to they had to cash out before they could pay us, so we would just sit there. Sometimes we
Hang
would
out.
keep drinking after everybody left, like whatever, and then it was like, oh, let's all go eat. Then we would all pile into a car and go to some restaurant somewhere and eat breakfast at 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
It was crazy. And then like I do that the next night, and we all over again. It was crazy. Like
Hmm.
how so yeah.
Uh,
Yep.
but now,
Now
I think we have to
yeah.
agree we've
I
outgrown it because our bodies won't respond
I do it
anymore.
now, but it kills me when I do. It really
Uh,
does.
the next one, yeah, I can agree. Eating fast food or junk food every
Yeah.
day. No, like you said, I can't remember the last time I was at McDonald's.
No. Yeah, I don't
You can't.
every like twice a month or something, I'll get like a Wendy's thing
Oh,
where
that's
I
mine.
just
Yeah.
or whatever, or maybe a Burger King, like where I just like I'm craving it and I can't stand it and it's driving me bananas, and I'll go eat like that one time, and I even then I split it in half and I don't eat it all at once. I'll like eat half of it and be like, whatever it is that I get because it's
Uh,
usually way too many calories, and I'm usually like full too quicker than I used to be, so
hmm.
I'll cut it in half, throw it in the refrigerator, and eat the other half like the next day or whatever. But that's it. I don't. Yeah,
And
I don't.
remember when we were going out, at 3, 4 in the morning,
Yeah.
you're like, I need fries with, like cheese and gravy and the greasy burger and all
Yeah.
that was perfect for you. Now
Ron
it's nope, can't
Ron
do it.
can remember this. Ron, we had IHOP, we had Big Boy, and at one
Oh
point we
yeah.
had a place called
Oh, Big Boy. I
McManus.
love Big Boy.
Yeah, we had Big Boy. We had two of those. We had a McManus. We had Howard Johnson's at
Denny's.
one point. And these are the places that were open like at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning.
Yes,
To
that's
eat
what you
food.
need.
And so, and I think our Bob's Big Boys they were Howard Johnson's to be Hojos is what we call it. Yeah, it used to
Yes,
be
I
that
remember.
in the beginning. For years, that was what it was called, and I think Bob's Big Boy must have bought out the Howard Johnson's brand or something
Oh,
because they flipped over to Big Boys at some point. One in
God, I
Seekonk,
miss
one in
Big Boy.
Warwick. Yeah, and so like that's the kind of crazy nonsense that we used to go and eat, in the middle of the night. But yeah, that food is not good, not good.
No.
But even
Um.
so, before we keep going, even if we
Yeah.
wanted to eat crap food right now, it's outlandishly expensive. It's not like we didn't used to pay so much money when we were ordering like fast food years ago. It was like cheap.
That's why you got it, because it was cheap and
Right.
quick.
Now that stuff is like it's actually cheaper to buy food and cook it at home than it used to be. Back then it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
Back then that stuff was cheaper. And it
Yep.
was quick. It was like a dollar menu or whatever it was you'd run through. Now it's like actually, Odeyville, New York system. We had a ton of them. We still do, and
Oh, I
those
don't
are
remember
open late
that.
nights
Okay.
around here. And we all talked when I talked to you about Talking Heads. We talked about that because that was I think where for a while David Byrne was working. But we used to have those the hot wieners in the middle of the night, places like that.
Oh, you mentioned that before. Yeah.
And those places also had like burgers, fries, whatever. You didn't. It wasn't the only thing they served, but anyway, yeah, you can't go to a fast food place now. You can't live off it anymore because it's just too expensive to eat there.
Absolutely.
So, like, what's the point? It seems like why are we doing that? Like, anyway,
He
yeah.
went last week.
Yeah.
So it's still there, obviously.
Yeah.
Here's one. Have you outgrown the need for gossiping?
I never liked it.
When you hear something from your friends,
Mm-hmm.
do you immediately have to say, which, by the way, is so much easier now because you don't have to see the person to tell them.
Right.
You text them, you put it on social media. So have we outgrown that? Or has it just become easier to spread gossip? So it's not gossip anymore, maybe.
No, I don't think anybody's outgrown it because I hear and see it all the time. It's worse than it used to be. But like I never liked like straight up like I think when I was a teenager, I just did it because everybody else did it, and I thought it was supposed to be like socially acceptable. It was my bonding thing because everybody else did the same. But as you get older, you're just like, why are we talking about somebody that like I just don't. It's the most idle, superficial conversation you could ever have. It's like small talk. I hate it.
Isn't that always?
Now, do my sister and I get on the phone sometimes and go over old people we know and what's their deal right now and what's everybody? I've done that. We do that. But I mean, we've known each other since she was born, so like we know a lot of the same people, and it's easy to say, "Have you seen so and so? Have you seen so?" There's no backstory we have to get into. But I think for the most part, I don't like gossip. And when I'm out somewhere and somebody comes to me to talk to me about a person that I know, I'm like,
yeah,
well, this person's doing the same thing when I'm not. Like, there's no way. This is a pattern. So we're talking about you too. You're not like, what's the word I'm looking for? me, my coffee. You're not immune to it, or you're not.
Oh, definitely
You're not going to get out of that alive. Everybody's going to talk about you when you leave. So, like, when you see somebody doing that, you're like, oh, this person just does this. It's not like I'm getting information and nobody else is. As soon as I leave, somebody's going to tell.
Oh, God. Everybody is.
Right. So it's like, I just don't.
Here's an interesting conversation just in general, but they have it on the list. When you believe adulthood at a certain age, you would have adulthood all figured out. Was there a point where you go, I may not know what's going on now, but in 10 years, I bet when I'm in my 40s, I'm going to have this figured out. Or when I'm in my 50s,
never.
I'm going to have this figured out.
Nope.
You're never going to have it figured out.
Nope.
There's always going to be something new.
Yes.
I'm hoping by 60. But by 60, there's going to be different problems that you're facing that you never faced before.
The more you learn, the less you realize you don't know. Put it that way.
Yeah, the more I always say when people ask me, I'm like, oh, you don't know that? And I go, look, the smartest people in the world realize they don't know enough. So
right. I mean, the more that
you're 59 now. So next year, Ron's going to have it all figured out.
That's funny.
Let's see. Oh, here's a good one that I've learned just recently. Thinking relationships, friendships in general, are effortless. They require work and maintenance. Agree? Disagree?
It depends. That's so subjective. When I was a kid, it's subjective in the sense that you do have to do work to communicate and things like that. It depends on what people think work is, I guess. But my generation, we all came from the same neighborhood, so it was so easy because we all knew the same areas, the same places. We knew the same people, so it seemed like it was easy because we didn't have to explain anything. We all got, knew the lingo and the what was it? It's not work if it's real. So
Real.
see how Ron looks at that. Some people
But
think it should be
how many
effortless if it's
friends?
genuine.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that was all I was gonna say.
How many friends do you have, and you still consider them friends, but you haven't spoken to them or texted with them or communicated with them in any form in years?
Uh, yeah, I there are some people that are like that I haven't talked to.
I
Mhm.
just heard that if you're texting someone happy birthday and you look down and the last time you communicated with them was the last year when you sent them happy birthday, then you have to decide, you know what, I'm going to cut that person off or not. I have
Right.
now gotten into, I've created more group chats and pages online where I tell my friends who I haven't seen in a while, no, we have to talk, we have to get back. And it's become a lot more fun. And they're in
Right.
my lives more. And because I put in a little more work, a little more
Right.
effort,
I mean, everybody's got to get an oar and row the boat. I mean, if somebody doesn't want to row the boat
perfect.
and you're the only one
Yes.
rowing, you're gonna go in circles.
There
And
you
that's it.
go. And then you can
So,
cut those people.
right.
Let's see. Preferring comfort over stability and thrill seeking.
Comfort is
Hmm.
stability, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it says preferring comfort and stability over thrill
Oh,
seeking.
I thought you said comfort over stability, and that just
Oh,
broke my
I'm sorry. I
brain.
may
I
have.
was like, what?
I may have.
Uh,
Yeah.
um, yeah. No, I haven't always been choosing comfort over whatever. But yeah, very quickly, probably by my 30s, I was just like, yeah, I like I'm comfortable with this. And I was never a thrill seeker though. Like I'm not a spontaneous person. You know that because we've talked about this.
Yep.
I don't like surprises. I don't like spontaneous stuff. I like everything to be mapped out. I like to know what's going on. So I've always been
And if not, you will get to the bottom of what's going on.
exactly. So I don't. I've never really been. I felt bad about it because I felt like, oh, something's wrong with me because I don't. This doesn't do anything for me. Why is everybody else doing this and I'm not? But then
Right.
one day you're just like, well, whatever. I guess it's just not my thing.
Let's see. Oh, I like this one. We have okay. I'm spontaneous, but I'm not jumping out of planes no time soon. Yeah, that's fine. But there are certain things you would look forward to according to this. Have we outgrown getting excited about snow days?
No. Nope.
You're still excited when it's going to snow.
Yep. I'm excited when it's going to rain too.
Really?
Yep. I love rain. Like a whole day of rain. I love it. I think it's because I'm hyper productive, or I feel like I had to be doing something every 5 minutes. And when it's
Ah,
raining, it actually gives you an excuse to like not be doing stuff outside. Like you have this really nagging feeling like you should be outside doing something when it's sunny. I think it's because of our parents. Didn't our parents used to yell at us? It's nice outside. What are you doing in the house? Like that's how I
right.
grew up. So whenever it's nice outside, it still bothers me that like I'm
I
not
can go
out there.
outside. Yeah.
Yeah,
But do you have to shovel the snow?
I do, and I love it. I don't have that much to
Oh,
shovel.
see, there you go. That's why I think when I used to share a house, we had a mother
Hmm.
daughter house, my sister and brother in law, and it was a very large lot.
Hmm.
We had a corner, and it was always, hey, my brother in law would grumble and be like, okay, I'm going to do this side, and you get the next side. But I would be happy. I'm like, oh, it's outside. It's cold. It's
Well,
snow.
it's
It's
isn't it
different.
kind of fun when it's so weird, but it's a group activity, right? So it's warm in the house.
Yes,
You get the cocoa out, you get the
I
soup
agree.
out, whatever, and then
Snowball fight.
you get in your coats and hats and all that, and you just go out there and you just get her done. And then you come in and you just go, oh, let's have something to eat and relax and watch some TV. Like we worked. It's weird, but it's like a reward thing.
See, you get it. I think
Yeah.
you get it. They didn't get it. Okay,
Okay.
you're walking by, and there's a children's playground, and there's an open swing set. Do you swing?
Never did. Never did. I'm not a swinger. I mean, it was okay, but it wasn't like I went running for it. It was all
You
right.
wouldn't do that?
I was
I still think if I saw it, I would do it.
no, I was a jungle gym
Ron would.
kid. Those
Yeah.
really old rackety metal things that we used to have, like. But I never. I
Yes.
always wanted on that stuff when everybody was gone. I didn't really want to be on stuff like that when other kids were around. You know me, I'm a
I
little
think,
introvert.
well, they had one on this list, but I didn't read it. But
Mm,
because I took it off because we have an adult version. They
okay.
had coloring. They said when you're a kid, coloring relaxes you. But now they have adult coloring books because
Yeah,
they say that relaxes you. For me, I think it would be the same thing. It's just swing. Swing means relaxation and enjoyment and a
I
feeling
guess.
that you just get inside that you
Maybe it's
want to
something
keep.
that I missed. I guess I just
Could
didn't.
be.
Yeah, I missed it.
And here, this is only I added this one to the list because I don't understand it as I get older, and I want
Hmm.
to know what you think about this.
Okay.
But let me finish because there's an explanation to it. Blowing out candles on a birthday cake.
Hmm.
Now, I want the cake. I want the singing of happy birthday. I want that. But I don't want people spitting on my cake. Why do I have to have candles? I could just, make a wish. Okay. I made a wish. Why do I have to blow out fire?
I don't know. That's a weird tradition. I always thought it was. I don't know. I don't know. Do I do I enjoy that? No, you know me. I want somebody to drop a cake off at my house and leave.
Yeah.
Like if you want to give me a cake, bring it to my house. Sure, put it at my front door. Tell me it was there, and I'll bring it in and eat it by myself. Like that's like a dream to me. I like me
Uh,
eating a cake by myself. I don't want the party. I don't want the singing. I don't like any of that.
and you want them to know, and you want to know that they're coming over when they're coming over too.
Oh,
No
of course.
surprises.
Yeah, no surprises. Just like if you drop it, just let me know you did. I don't need to say hi and catch up and all that. Just drop the cake off and go. I mean, it's probably better off if I just buy my own cake and then everybody can stay out of it. But yeah, I never the whole party surprise. Like I've literally been traumatized by surprise parties. I don't like them.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm sorry about that.
there's like a it's like a PTSD thing. It really is. It's
Oh wow.
jarring. Yeah, I don't like it. I gotta
Well,
know
and
about it.
Ron also has different things up here for things have we outgrown them. He has peanut butter and jelly sandwich, which I think there's certain comfort foods that you grow up with
Hmm.
that you're never gonna outgrow.
Right.
Chihuahua
What is
next
going
door
on
is
in your
going at it
house?
right now.
Craziness.
Someone
Doggies.
always buys a horrible cake like lemon. I could eat a
Yeah.
lemon cake. And he's got a picture of looks like father and son playing video games. If it were just a father and son playing video games, that would be fine. But unfortunately, there's more 40, 50, 60-year old men, women coming home and just spending hours on that. Hey,
Well,
puppy.
that's fine. I mean, whatever, as long as you're a productive person in society, then however you get your downtime, that's
There
fine.
you
Doesn't
go.
bother me. But I do love still a couple things that I had as a kid for food. What do you like? Is there anything that you still
Ah, from as a kid, I do love peanut butter and jelly. You know what? The one
Mhm.
thing, and somebody mentioned it the other day, and I went, I have to have it. Just a simple bologna and cheese sandwich.
Yeah.
I haven't had bologna in, I couldn't tell you, but somebody mentioned it, and I immediately went into, I have to get a bologna and cheese sandwich.
Yeah. I mean, bologna and hot dogs the same thing. So if you eat hot dogs, you're
Yeah,
close
pretty
enough, right?
much.
Um but yeah, I love I have a thing about making tuna fish a specific way. And so I'll
Oh,
make
yes.
like white tuna, put it in a bowl, and then it's like mayonnaise, and then like garlic, salt, and
Ooh,
um,
haven't
that I
tried that.
cut up like
Celery,
celery.
carrots,
Yeah,
celery.
no carrots, but I will cut up like tomato, and I'll cut up pickles, and all that goes in there, and then like I put like lettuce on it. I get a bun. I do this whole thing.
Ah,
But it's just a way my mother used to cook it, or not cook it, but make it.
right.
But I do love. I don't love jelly, but I do love toast with peanut butter. That's something I will still eat.
Ooh, I like
With a
peanut
cup of
butter toast.
coffee. I love
That's
it.
pretty good too.
Yeah,
Well, I hope you learned a lot today because we gave you a lot of information.
we did.
So be sure to join us again tomorrow. They took JP from us apparently, and they put him on Sunday. So
Oh, okay,
tomorrow you get JP, Ron, and Kenny.
okay.
So you get three people. Uh, remember, Make it great because it's still summer out. You have 2 days. You have today and tomorrow.
Yep.
Enjoy it. And on behalf of Lynn and myself, I want to thank you for hanging out with us. Remember to share on our social media. Go to the page, Rhode Island. I'm going to go back so I don't get it
Mhm.
wrong. Hold on. Here we go. RhodeIslandBroadcasting.net. And you can see all of our information on there. And you can always come back because if you need some fun, join us because we have it going on daily.
Right there.
Bye, folks.